Hey guys, it's Marquita from AtHomeWithQuita. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me. So glad that you stopped by today. So in this video, I thought I would take a little time and kind of share with you how it's going with our digital learning. I know we're all in this new normal of digital learning, distance learning, online learning, homeschool, whatever you want to call it. And so we have been there just like you guys have been as well. And so some things have been working for me and my setup has been working for me. So I thought I would just kind of share with you how I use this planner and just kind of how things are going. So if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll stick around and consider subscribing. And you will also give me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy it. So let's jump in. If you want to see all things homeschool, distance learning, virtual learning, whatever you want to say, make sure to stay tuned. Okay guys, so again, we are in this whole new normal of having to teach our kids online, whether it be traditional homeschool or distance learning, going into school. Some of you may be doing that as well. We just have a different life right now. And some people are struggling, some people are not. There's just a lot going on right now. Same struggles you guys are having, we're having. And so I just kind of thought I would share with you my setup. I did do a full flip through of this planner with nothing written in it. We've started to plan some things out and write some things in. And so I just kind of thought I would open it up and I would just share with you and just kind of give you some real talk on what has been going on with us and how we have been able to make this thing work. Now, for those of you who don't know, we have been homeschooling our son for some time. He's mature teenager, and so he kind of works independently, so we don't have to do too much. We just kind of check in from time to time. And I do have some sections in here or some parts of this planner that are geared for him in terms of just knowing. I like to be in the know. And so we are familiar with this homeschool life, but Addison it wasn't time for her yet. She was going to come into homeschool in middle school because I feel like middle school is the devil. And that is when my son changed. And I do not want her going to middle school. And I don't. In my head, I don't. But now this whole having to do it now may push me to allow her to go. I don't know. I don't like middle school. And so, you know, that has been our life for the past 5 years or so. And so we're kind of used to it, but again, we weren't prepared for her yet. And so it kind of threw a monkey wrench in our game. And so I'm just kind of talk you through kind of how I had it set up. And then I'm going to show you how I use it. So we have our 2020-2021 planner. I like to keep that in here. Although she did start out in her local public school online. They did have it to where you could choose to be online or you could choose to go in. And if you chose to go in, they put you with a particular teacher who started out online. And then eventually she was supposed to transition into the school. Or you would just be with your online teacher who you would stay with. And so she started out there, but I felt like because it was so new to them, they didn't really know what was going on. And I felt like I needed her to go into a program where they knew what they were doing. And I felt like with what she's doing now, which is GCA, Georgia Cyber Academy, which is what Malachi did in the past, he's now in Connections Academy and he's done several other programs. But I felt like they are homeschool teachers. That's what they do. They know what to do. They're familiar with this life. They have their own interface. They don't use Zoom. They have their own setup. They know what they're doing because they're not new at it. And so I needed her to go into a program where I was familiar with one and where they knew what they were doing. And so that's what we found. The only disadvantage to that is that now we are the teachers. They do have, of course, classes that they go into on a daily basis, which she does do. But for the most part, we are the teachers. And so it's a little bit of a struggle there, but we are getting used to it. So I'm just flipping through some private information that I probably shouldn't have shown. So I'm definitely gonna have to block that out. But that's basically her teacher's name and information, and then the schedule, and then some other information that she needed for public school, which I'm keeping in here because she is going back. Okay, this is not indefinite. She's going back. Okay, it's just that she's not going back now because it's not safe. It's not safe in our opinion. and let me just disclaim this and just say, this is what works for our family. I'm not judging. Please don't judge me, okay? This is just what works for us, and we're not, trying to impose our thoughts or anything onto anyone else. I'm just sharing with you what has been working for us so far. If you choose to send your kids to school, more power to you. I wish I was there. I'm not quite there yet, but we will get there because we do want her to go back to school. We feel like she's not a homeschool type of kid, whereas our son is. She thrives better in the public school environment. And I feel like, she's only in first grade. I want her to be able to have that association and be able to just be in an environment where she can thrive. And I feel like for her, it's in school. It's in school. She loves it, and she's itching to go back. So let me just say that is that, do what works for you. We're going to do what works for us. Okay. And so the first thing I have here is just a priorities half sheet. All of this is available from the shop. Every single insert, every single dashboard, all of this is Fancy Plans Co. So let me just mention that as well. And so this is just where I come just to write in some things I just need to get out of my head. And so that's all I use this for, was just to write in some quick things. This is the attendance chart, which I have been doing pretty good at. I think I have for the most part, right? And so this is for August. And so we're now into September. I like to check off the days. I also put the day where she started GCA, just so I knew that she transitioned into that new program. And because I just, for my own memories, like to have that. And so this is for Addison. This is her first grade tracker. Just for attendance, and then we have one for Malachi as well. So that's what I've got here in the front. And then they had some materials that we needed for math that I pinned in here, and along with the first grade supply list. Actually, this was the school had a pickup day where we had to go pick up the computer. They gave everybody a computer, and her current existing program had already sent us the computer. So that's how we kind of knew, because it was like GCA was just on top of it. We did have some snafus with the time frame in which it took for her to get enrolled or finalize the enrollment, but for the most part, they had just been on top of everything. And so it took us some time and, snafus to get the computer from her public school. And, but you know what? I appreciate their efforts, because it's a lot going on. It's hard work. These teachers are really struggling right now. And so I get it. You know what I mean? It's just tough on them too. And so they can't do it all. And we always tend to be overcritical. I don't want to be overcritical. It's just that, I noticed some things, and that kind of is what pushed us to go forward with this program that she's in now. And so this was the sheet that we had that had a check off of us to pick up all those materials that we needed to pick up. So I'm still kind of keeping those things in here because I'm not sure what's going to change for second semester. She could go back into school. Everything could kind of be okay, and we could get back to normal a little bit. And so she could go back to school, regular traditional public school at the school. And so I'm kind of trying to keep those things just in case. And so this was her schedule when she was actually in her public school online. This was everything that they did. I love this page, how it turned out. I low-key love my handwriting. Let me just say I'm getting better. Y'all know I'm getting better because you've seen how my struggles were from the beginning until now. And I still have struggles, of course, but I feel like I'm getting better. So I'm just proud of myself. And so this was her schedule from 8:15 all the way up to 5:45, which is things that I had her do outside of school, because we have to enrich additionally. We can't just rely on the school to do it all. We have to do some things for ourselves as well. And so after she got out of school, which was at this window right here, then we did Bible time. We tried to do some music. She had free time, art, and then we tried to cook with me on certain days. And then we had our meeting on Tuesday, so she wasn't able to do certain things. So I tried to incorporate some other things outside of just what the school provided. And then this right here is Malachi's schedule. Excuse me. Malachi doesn't have live lessons every day like she had. He only has them on certain days for certain subjects, like geometry and literature is on Monday. And they're not mandatory, by the way. Addison in public school was mandatory, and GCA is not mandatory. But we put her on there anyways because that gives us some free time. It allows us to take some of the pressure off of us and let the teacher teach, which is what they love. We're not teachers naturally. I mean, I like to think, we know how to do it if we have to, but it's not our natural inclination to want to do it. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. And so this is, of course, his schedule of all the classes that he has to log into for live lessons. And then all of these white spaces you see, he's supposed to be doing regular work. And so, again, it's not an everyday thing for them. It's just sprinkled throughout the week. All right, and then we get to Addison's current schedule. So I haven't written in every day like I did on the other day, but pretty much the only variables in her schedule is that Friday is art and Monday is PE. And so otherwise, the schedule and then these days in between are like this would be white space. And so 10:15 on Monday and 10:15 on Friday are those like elective sort of classes. Otherwise, this is her standard schedule. And so on a normal day, she wouldn't have these two things. Again, it's only 2 times a week. And so her schedule goes from 8 a.m. or I'm sorry, 8:25, which is where they log in for their morning meeting. And then she has language arts until 9:10. And then she has free time after that until 10:15 on Mondays for PE. Otherwise, her free time is from 9:10 up until 11. Yeah, that's a huge gap, right? So that's time that we take and we do those additional assignments with her, which I'm going to get into it with you when I show you my current week spread. And so she's got a ton of free time here. And so at 11 o'clock, which I'm missing a 0 for, by the way, let me put my other 0. 11 o'clock, she's doing math all the way up until 11:55. And then from 11:55 up until 1:50 is free time. Okay, and then from 1:50 onwards, she has, I think it's about a 45-minute class, social studies or science. They alternate those, you know, one day she does science, next day she does social studies. So this is her week, although I didn't write everything in like you saw on the other page, because really this is all just repetitive. It's just all the same thing in different handwriting. And so I am going to do this, go here, just so I can see it all on one page. I am a person that needs to see all visual in front of me on paper, in a book, in a planner. That's why I'm a planner, because all of this stuff is available online. That's where I pull it from. So I take my laptop out and sit down on a Sunday. Although I did this yesterday, which I'm so proud of myself. I planned everything out in all of my planners, which by the way, I haven't done a planner lineup video recently, but I've really scaled back. You guys would be proud of me. So I have this planner. I do have a faith planner. I have my business planner and I have my catch-all planner. 4 planners, but really within those planners, I got a lot more going on. So let me just say that. And so I like to see things in front of me. So I could technically just rely on online, but I like to see it and transfer it here, just so I can come here with one book. I don't have to fumble through passwords and logins and stuff. I can see it all on one page. So that's why I like to rewrite it, because some people might say, well, if you see it online, why would you rewrite it? It's just what works for me. So that's our daily. We do need to sit down and come up with some goals, my husband and I. So we are going to do that. We just haven't had time to do that yet. Then we have an activity tracker, which is going to come in really handy for her PE. She does have PE classes. Again, arts on Friday, PE is on Monday. They do have classes and things that she has to take. So I will need to start writing in this log, because we probably will have to turn that in. So that's what this is. And then we have our grade tracker. So I do keep all of this in here in the front of the month. I didn't really need them too much for August. As you can see, we didn't do too much for August because this stays in front of August. So I will transition these out, not this, because this stays in front of the whole planner and the goals. I'll transfer this out and put it in the back as storage, because I already have all of that in here for September. Oh, it should be in here for September. Maybe I didn't put it in here for September. So what I'll do is I'll just transfer it to September, so we can have the logs and everything we need for that. Okay, and I need to go ahead and plan some things out in terms of what we're gonna do for September. Okay, so this is how the beginning of every month will look. All right, so let me just finish showing you August. August was a struggle for us because it was new. You know, again, we weren't prepared. So we just did the best we could. So I went ahead and planned everything out. This was just the first month of school, which started for her on the 12th for her public school. And then it started on the 17th for GCA once she got accepted. And so it was a very simple spread. But of course, there was a ton of things going on that we had to do to get prepared. And then we moved into our first week, which I did plan for, and the menu. I was so proud of myself. We pretty much stuck to the menu for the most part. I know what kind of things she likes. This is just her school menu, which means breakfast, lunchtime, and snack time. Dinner time is prepared on a totally different planner, which is my catch-all planner. And so I only put the stuff here that is during normal school hours. And so I had some different subjects here because I didn't quite know what to expect. But now that we are in September, we know exactly what to expect. We know exactly what subjects we need. And so it works so good for me. I tried it out without doing this just to see, just relying completely on online. And I'm going to show you what that caused by not writing it in. I'm just the type of person that I have to see it written in on the spread because I like to check it off. I like to see across what we all have to do that day so I can see how overwhelmed my day is going to be. And so for me, it just works to just see it all on paper. So I'm going to show you why not writing it in, as you see here, because these were all school weeks, just did not work for me. So we don't have anything else written in up until September. So again, we just pop these in here so that we can go ahead and start planning for some things that she has to do outside of school, because I showed you her schedule. She has things to do outside of school. And then also, I don't believe there's anything that really has been graded yet. And then the activity tracker, we're going to start implementing that in September, since we've kind of gotten our mojo and we know how PE kind of works now. And then also the reading log. We are going to start going to the library every Wednesday. So we are going to start going to the library every Wednesday and picking out a book. And as a family, we try to read 20 minutes a day. So that's what we try to do. So we're going to keep that going. Then the field trip log. Things are starting to loosen up just a little bit with COVID, just a little bit. We are still very mindful. We don't really go anywhere, but I see that things are starting to maybe get a little bit better. I don't know. I could be wrong. So we do want to start doing things, going exploring. And it doesn't have to be going into public places. It could just be in your backyard. You know, you could just be creative with this. But I do want to start writing some things in that we want to do for field trips. Okay, then we get to September. Don't judge the month. I know I didn't plan the month out, but I am going to plan the month out. I just haven't had time to yet, but what I'm most excited about is the weeklies, okay? So this week was a good week, which was last week, the week of the 31st. I did a pretty good job of writing things in, not the way I completely wanted to, and that's why we missed some assignments, which is what I was going to tell you, which is the reason why I have to write it in. Also another reason why, because we just miss things. I don't know why. We shouldn't miss things if it's online, but she's behind in a couple of things. Just a couple though. We've been doing really good. And I think it's just first week woes or first month woes as well. These are her sight words. So these go transferred week by week because she pretty much knows them all, but we just keep going over them. So I just transfer them by week. She also has a little notebook that I made out of some flashcards that I got online, and I put them on discs. I punched them and put them on discs. And so we use that as well because some of the words aren't in here and vice versa. So this actually goes into the next week. But as you can see, fell off the bandwagon again. And then we get to the superstar, okay? I was so proud of myself that I sat down last week. I went into the computer. I looked at every single thing. I wrote every single thing down. And this is what I want to do every single week. So because I wasn't doing that before, this is the problem. She's missing these assignments. And so I was able to go in and see that they weren't checked off. I'm going to cross-reference with my husband just to make sure that I'm not overlooking something, because you have to go in the system and manually check it off. And maybe he did these assignments and we just didn't check them off. But she's got a couple of things missing here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a weekend and do one subject and get caught up. It's just a few things, and then take another weekend and get caught up, or maybe sprinkle them throughout the week, because she does have a lot of gaps in time in which we could technically get some of this stuff accomplished. So I just popped this in the week just so I could see it. I think I'm also going to fold it over just because I like a good fold over. And so that way we know what she has to complete and what is missing. This is important. Okay, so here's the week. Now I did pin this in here because she has a project that she is supposed to do, that she was supposed to turn in Friday, but it's not completed. And so I just pinned this in here because I need to remind me, which I did schedule it on here, that she needs to complete this assignment right here, project due. So we're going to turn it in on Monday, which is tomorrow. It's not completely done, but we're gonna try to turn it in Monday. That's the goal. So I just have it pinned there so I don't forget. And she also has another project due for social studies on Friday. And so I wrote in a little note down here at the bottom of some supplies I need to pick up from the store. And then I also took that list and I went into my classic size planner, or not classic size, what am I talking about? I just did a video. Yeah, reminiscing. So then I took what I wrote here and I've transferred it into my catch-all planner here. So I know when I'm doing my grocery shopping and my shopping, because I do that from Walmart grocery service, but you can buy things from Walmart, which is the genius part, is that it's not just only groceries. I can buy other things too. And so I put it here so I can remember to buy those things for her project Monday, which is when I do my grocery shopping. So I always try to transfer important things out of here into my catch-all planner, which is what I see in front of me every day. And that is what I kind of that's my main planner. And so I want to make sure I have it there. So this spread is going to help me out so much this week. I do have a divider dashboard in here that just has a top tab. So I know that this is the week. I use one of the teacher or student sticker books to create this. So as you see, the subjects are different now. I know what subjects need to be written here, which are language arts, math, science. She has live lessons for all of those, as well as art and PE, Monday, Friday, remember? And also social studies science is at the same time, 150 every day, but it alternates. And then this is something that I'm doing with her, which is reading and writing. She needs to work on that, of course. She's only in the first grade, so she's got a lot of work to do to figure out, she's still learning how to read. And she's doing a great job. And so, kudos to her teachers over, last year and some of this year, and then also us for encouraging that and trying to push her. And so she's getting better and better. So I'm really proud of her. Okay, so I did mark off Wednesday is library day, as you can see. So we're going to try to do that as a family, go to the library every Wednesday. We're trying to get back into that. We love the library, and I want to really encourage her and keep developing that love of books that she has. She loves books. And so I'm digging this so much. And so what I did, just kind of break it down for you guys, just to kind of you can see how my brain works. I do reserve this right here only for important appointments and things like that where we have to do that I need my immediate attention to. I also am contemplating next week maybe putting the live lessons here. The times of the live lessons, I don't know, because that's a lot to have to write in. I kind of like having them on every day. And so that's what I did. For this particular day, there are no lessons. So what happens with her school is the teacher gets on for a certain amount of time. At that time that I highlighted in gray, all of these gray highlights are live lessons. And then after the live lesson, they have like a worksheet that they have to do, and then an online assignment that they have to do where I have to teach. That's what I'm saying. I am the teacher, basically. The teacher teaches something specifically in class, and then you go offline and you dig deeper on your own. And you also have a separate lesson that you have to do for that particular day in that subject. And so I like to write the lesson, whatever it is. If there's no lessons like this particular day, then she only has the live lesson for that class, which is at 8:25. And so as you can see here, she has her live lesson 8:25. Then she has a graphic organizer she has to do for a writing assignment. And then she has a 3.03 lesson, which is exploring the farm. And it tells you the slides that you have to do or the pages that you have to do. And then that next day you do the next pages. So that's 1 through 5. This is 6 through 10 and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how I break things down. Live lesson and then math. She's got brain pop. I try to be as detailed as possible. And then if there's something that I'm doing with her independently on my own that isn't like a mandatory turn-in assignment, I write it here and I put a little dot there. So we do flashcards, math flashcards. We do addition and subtraction. And so I just put a little dot next to that so that I would know that that's something that I'm doing with her outside of school. I also like to indicate if there's an assignment that she has to turn in for a grade. So I typically put a little G next to it so that way I know that that is a graded assignment, and I know that it is super important that she turns it in on time. And so that it has been working for me as well. And then as you can see here, I have a little note to prep for the week because I feel like this week is gonna be life-changing because as you saw, I try to be as real with you guys as possible. I didn't write every single thing in every week. We just kind of winged it and looked online and relied on that. But again, when I did do this, even this little bit of time, it was life-changing in terms of her school. It really helped. And so this week is going to be great. So as you see, once again, I highlighted in gray her live lessons. I put a little dot next to anything extra. I put a little G next to anything that's graded, or I wrote graded out, and I just tried to be as detailed as possible. This section right here is strictly extra stuff. Everything else is stuff that she has to do actually for school. And then that is, she has a project or any additional notes I need to write in, it's going to be at the bottom. I take that and any other important information like a library, I transition that into my catch-all planner so that I see it because that's what I'm going to open most awfully during the day. And I want to see that in that planner as well. And so that's kind of how we work around here. And things have been going so far so good. There have been some struggles, if I'm being honest. In terms of just making the schedule work, it is very demanding. And then my shop is very demanding. And so that's kind of why we had to hire somebody. So how me and my husband do it. And I am going to really try to get him to start looking at this planner more, because right now he really doesn't. If I'm being honest, it's really just for me. But I told him this is where I want to be our communication hub. Anything that needs to be done, I want to just come here. I want you to be checking things off. I want you to see things that are important. That is what I think we should do. And so how we bounce things is that we alternate. One day he does this subject, next day I do that subject, or one time of day he'll do one and then I'll do the next. He's really strong at math. He was in a gifted math program. He was just a gifted student, my husband was. And so he does a lot better at certain things than I do. I'm the more patient one when it comes to teaching, and I'm also the more fun one. He's probably gonna kill me when he hears me if he watches this video. So please, if you're watching and you know him, like you know us personally, don't try to start no trouble, okay? But and my daughter tells me this too. She's like, Mommy, you're just so much fun to learn with. And so although I may not be the one that like is book smart like he is, I have my strengths too, okay? And I think one of the strengths is that I try to make it fun. I'm very creative. I like to think that I am, at least in my head. And so when it comes to projects and stuff, I do those things, so we know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we try to play on that. And so that way the kids don't get bored, and they don't, because this is a challenge for everybody. So we try to just do the best that we can, and hopefully you are doing the best that you can as well. That's all you can do. This is tricky for everybody. The same struggles you are going through, we're going through too. Even though, for some people, you may think they have it all together. They don't. I don't. I am struggling just like you are on the day-to-day. And I think pretty much for us more so, it's the balance of everything, because we've got a ton of things going on, as you do too. And so balance is key. And so I think what we have going on in terms of the schedule and in terms of alternating, I think that all just works for us, at least right now. I'm not sure what will happen in the future. And so we just try to keep it, as organized as we can. This method is the best way for us. I am going to be doing a video on my channel later with showing you guys our homeschool setup. Addison is currently downstairs in the basement with us. Malachi is upstairs in his room. He has his own little desk set up, and she's near to us because we need to be able to hear what's going on. She doesn't understand things. We need to be there for her. We also don't want to be running up and down the stairs all day. And so she's got a nice little setup downstairs. The bathroom's right there. She can go upstairs and feel like she's getting away from school when she has her breaks, and when she comes home, so to speak, from school, she feels like it's not, she's actually leaving school and going up to her room or whatever. So it kind of gives that separation. And so that's what's been working for us. And then in terms of her schoolwork, when we print things out, I have a whole folder system where you guys know I'm just an organizational type of person. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes I get lazy. I'm not perfect at all. I have lots of flaws. And so I'm just trying to keep my life as organized and as simple as possible. And we have trials that come along the way. And so I'm going to share with you guys that system so you could see kind of how I work and how she has like a typical day of work in terms of school. And so that is pretty much all that we've got going on in here. So I am planning on sitting down and doing a plan with me maybe soon. And I'm going to show you guys how I would actually write everything out. And so hopefully this is helpful. Sometimes these videos don't always go so well on my channel because there's not a lot of people that do homeschool, I think. Well, no, there's a lot of people that do homeschool. Let me take that back. I don't know, maybe this it just hasn't been consistent content, so you guys aren't really sure what to do with this, how to process this. But they'll probably be more popular now since more people are doing this whole homeschool thing. And so hopefully you enjoy this video. It helped in some way. And so for the rest of this planner, there's nothing else planned. I do have all of my months ready to go all the way up until the end of school. I've got a ton of full paper back here. If you want to see a video of how I set this up, make sure to check out the flip through video so you can see how everything is structured. But it's a pretty simple setup. I just wanted to show you up until now what we've been able to accomplish, which is just 2 months of school, y'all. It feels like it's been a whole school year. And so that is it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You got a little inspiration out of it. You found maybe something you want to implement in your system, which means you'll give me a thumbs up on this video. Make sure to comment below. Let me know how you guys are doing. How are you holding up? Is everybody doing good? Are you figuring it all out? I would love to hear from you. So again, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you'll come back and you'll catch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.